The Rock returns to WWE, still trying to make that belt happen. WWE is paid loads of money by Saudi Arabia, and they're trying to make this belt happen. And what is the real reason behind the backstage altercation following the PLE? Still doesn't sound right, still want to say pay-per-view. I'm Ollie Davis, and this is my review of WWE Bad Blood. In about 10 minutes.
Support WrestleTalk!
Some quick admin before I get into the review. This channel is made possible by your support, because YouTube money is in the toilet. So please check out our Patreon at patreon.com/WrestleTalk, where you can watch loads of exclusive videos. Like a bonus episode of Worst Match Ever with Luke Sullivan and Tempest watching the awful John Cena vs. Miz at WrestleMania 27, where The Rock shows up at the end. That's patreon.com/WrestleTalk, where you can support us from as little as $2 a month. Speaking of shows that have The Rock show up in the main event, better luck next time, CM Punk segue. WWE Bad Blood opened with a video skit of Triple H giving Cody Rhodes a super secret mission. They're bringing back Bad Blood, so Cody has to do an old school stakeout with the rapper Metro in Atlanta. I'm quite confused by all of this, but it's so shiny and expensive looking I don't really mind. What I do mind, however, is the goddamn rubber match blood feud ender Hell in a Cell stipulation opening the show. As reported, CM Punk vs. Drew McIntyre was the first match on the card, entirely because The Rock was going to show up for about a minute at the end of the main event. I get why they did it, and it probably is the right move, but that doesn't mean I have to rationally accept that. Punk and Drew took the lemons of not getting the main event spot though and turned them into beef tartare, because what they lacked in show closing prestige, they made up for with blood. So much blood. There were fists and weapons from the start, with Punk inventively using the underside of a table as more powerful than its wooden top. I'd never seen that before, and it was really smart. Like the ring apron is the hardest part of the ring, that metal frame is the hardest part of the table. But then Drew hit a claymore on Punk on the outside and threw him into the cage wall, busting open Punk's head. Punk retaliated by whacking Drew in the skull with a toolbox, which covered McIntyre's face with blood so quickly it absolutely 100% must have been a blood capsule, which is a great idea. I've been saying WWE should use fake bloods for years. Oh, it's real blood. The match entered finisher mode with GTS and Claymore kickouts. The ref had to use a towel on Drew because there was so much blood gushing from his head. McIntyre suplexed Punk off the apron through a table outside in a spot so terrifically foreshadowed, I started to believe that Drew might win, especially when he hit Sheamus's white noise on the steel steps and a low blow. But Drew's biggest enemy isn't actually CM Punk, it's himself. It's how he gets in his own way. And when he could have just hit another Claymore to win, he decided to keep humiliating Punk instead. In a poetic visual, Drew tipped a bag full of friendship bracelet beads all over him, in the best use of that MacGuffin so far. But it didn't just give Punk a little bit of time to recover, it fired him up too. Punk stuffed Drew's mouth with beads, wrapped a chain around his knee, and hit a GTS to win. Punk could barely stand afterwards, falling over on the entrance ramp as EMTs tried to put an oxygen mask on his face, but he valiantly walked out by himself. An excellent match, far and away match of the night and of their trilogy, and a fittingly bloody close to their feud. While I feel Bad Blood having 3 hosts in Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair and Naomi was excessive, I am grateful. They wore red, so the cage didn't have to be. Bayley and Nia Jax had the tough job of following the Hell in a Cell match next, which was made even tougher by Jax sometimes forgetting how to wrestle. Nia is arguably on her best run ever inside the ring, but this match unfortunately felt more like the Jax of old. One move looked so bad, Nia reversing a Bayley powerbomb into a Hurricane Rana, that I think it was a worse version of the move than John Cena's. Bayley kept the intensity up as much as she could, telling the basic story of her speed having to overcome Nia's power, but she was undone by interference finish. Nia accidentally front splashed the referee, letting Tiffany Stratton run down to take out Bayley with the briefcase in her first of 4 interference spots. Maybe every match should be inside Hell in a Cell. But when Nia came to, with a cane sit-up spot no less, it looked like Tiffy was trying to cash in her contract. Bayley got a good near fall off that distraction, but Jax won shortly after, building tension with Stratton. Jax vs Bayley told the story of the smaller underdog babyface fighting against the monster heel's strength. Damien Priest vs Finn Balor was a similar story of big versus small. with the heel-face dynamic awkwardly the other way around. The guy with the power advantage, Damien, was the face, and Balor, who had to overcome that, was the heel. The layout didn't do Finn's credibility any favours. After Judgment Day have looked pretty weak against the Terror Twins since the SummerSlam turn, Balor never looked like a real threat against Priest here. Every time I thought Finn was going to cut Priest off and get that heel heat, Priest just hit his move anyway. Spots designed to have Priest's move reversed or him run through a barricade was actually just him pouncing Finn over the commentary table or him powerbombing him onto the apron. Even when we got the inevitable Judgment Day rundown for the second of 4 consecutive interference spots with Carlito and JD McDonough, Priest overcame that super easily, barely an inconvenience too. Finn hit 2 coup de grace to the back, but Damien caught the third into a South of Heaven for the win. At least we can hopefully move on from this now. So expect Team Judgment Day versus Team Terror quintuplets at War Games. Intriguingly, at the start of the show, it was announced Triple H would have a historic announcement. Could it be a major signing? SmackDown going 3 hours? John Cena teasing yet another WrestleMania in Enter Your Hometown Here. Whatever it is, I thought, pretty smart PR move. WWE should announce something big to keep pushing the Mr. McMahon Netflix series down the news cycle to make sure they can look as good as they possibly can. Oh. It's sports washing for Saudi Arabia. Triple H announced that at Crown Jewel, a new annual tradition will begin, where the 2 men's world champions will face each other and the 2 women's world champions will face each other, where there will be a definitive winner. Expect many interference spots. But their own championships won't be on the line. Instead, they'll be fighting for the Unicron of belts, the Crown Jewel title. So Saudi Arabia can kind of say they've got the biggest belt in all of wrestling. Sports washing. The sad truth is, it works. Gunther interrupted, as he will very likely be the men's crown jewel match, to roast Goldberg at ringside, saying he didn't actually like him more than Bret Hart, and that he hopes he's a better father than he is a wrestler. Sami Zayn brawled with Gunther, building their Raw match, and Goldberg got his hand raised by Triple H, which is quite the turnaround from an interview Bill gave back in March, where he accused Levesque of booking Asuka to beat his undefeated streak because they don't like each other, and that Paul has given everyone the spear move. Also, Goldberg said, "You're next," to Gunther, which I suppose means a match. WWE's reluctance to beat the Terror Twins in any way continued next, when Rhea Ripley won via DQ against Women's World Champion Liv Morgan. Morgan took the majority of the opening, working over Rhea's knee, but Ripley rolled out of the oblivion to make her comeback. At least Liv looked way more of a threat than Finn did. Dominic Mysterio was hanging above the entrance ramp in a shark cage rather than the ring, presumably because of the Hell in a Cell rigging, and just managed to open the door, which was never explained how he was able to do that. Afterwards, he fell out, hanging upside down by his ankle. Ripley couldn't resist a piñata and started whacking him with a kendo stick. This was when Raquel Gonzalez, not Rodriguez, made her return for our third of 4 consecutive interference spots to beat up Ripley, and the referee called for a DQ. Meaning, I guess Raquel is in Judgment Day now. Enjoy losing, Raquel! I feel like Ripley could have been pinned by Liv here, with the double reasoning of her getting distracted by Dom and the Gonzalez interference. Liv could have distracted the referee rather than WWE booking an unsatisfying DQ finish. Feels like Ripley is often super protected at the expense of all others. The mid-card never really mattered here though, because now it's time for the main event. Not a Hell in a Cell. Boy, I wonder who the biggest stars are here. The 2 lads who got one entrance together, or the 2 lads who got separate entrances with 2 separate 20-person plus bands. And Pyro. It's Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. They're the biggest stars, most definitely. This main event felt like a throwback to a simpler time in a really effective way. This was 2 mega over babyfaces wrestling a basic tag match with incredible drama. It was Roman's first match back. He had tension with his tag partner Cody. He has more tension with Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu on the other side of the ring. Solo and Fatu are on the exact same page. Cody and Roman are, at best, frenemies. I would have held off on Roman tagging in for longer, but it was still really effective, having Cody get worked over to build to Reigns' second hot tag. Rhodes realised he'd have to sacrifice himself to take out Fatu, hitting a splash off the top rope through the announcer's table. He saluted Roman before he did, but the mandatory Tongan's distraction for the 4th of 4 consecutive interference spots led to a Solo near fall and... Wait a second. 1, 2, 3... 3 Tongans. But it wasn't Hikuleo who revealed himself under the hood. It was a returning Jimmy Uso to the biggest pop of the night. I'd say a bit bigger than Rock's a few minutes later. He took out both Tongans, Roman hit a spear on Solo to win, and the estranged cousins embraced. Not content with jobbing out new blood once though, Jimmy acted as Roman's moral compass here. Reigns felt like he wanted to leave Cody to the wolves once the match was over, but Jimmy convinced him to save Rhodes, beating up Solo and chums again. Roman tensely handed the championship belt back to Cody in a foreshadowing moment for when they meet again, when the other person in their thruple feud showed up too. Because just like I proved on Friday before anyone else had said it, before any reports, I just connected the dots. Rock the Dwayne Johnson showed up to a slightly less loud pop than Jimmy's, still wearing that People's Championship I think only he cares about. To stare disapprovingly at everyone in the ring, count 1, 2, 3, and then make a slitting his throat gesture. Was he counting Tongans? Or was it a WrestleMania triple threat tease? The Rock is back in WWE, but very innovatively, that wasn't the final major plot point of the night, because fan footage has come out after the show of Kevin Owens turning heel on Cody Rhodes, or face, depending on who you sympathize more with, and a backstage altercation attacking him by a production truck just like The Rock did back in March. Cody posing with Roman and Jimmy must have been the final straw for KO. So why did this happen off-air rather than on TV, apart from the obvious answer of, it's well cool this way? According to Wrestling Observer Radio, the real reason is WWE becoming concerned about how modern audiences react to heel turns. A lot of the time they just cheer, reacting to it like it's an impressive high spot rather than a sad, tragic character moment. This can often undermine and damage the babyface in that situation. To get around a live crowd reacting this way, WWE booked KO's turn on Cody off-air to protect Rhodes as a babyface and cement Owens more as a heel. It's also far more realistic, having this attack leak out via fan footage rather than WWE's official accounts. Overall, Bad Blood was a 2-match card. I give it 77%. Please go support us on Patreon at patreon.com/WrestleTalk for loads of bonus videos. And also go watch our latest WrestleTalk original episode, looking at the true crime case of when a wrestler was sent to prison for a wrestling move. Here's a clip. What happens when a professional wrestling match breaks down into a real act of violence? When a wrestler, in the heat of the moment or as a planned act of revenge, gives their opponent one of the industry's oldest, darkest secrets, known as the receipt. The unfortunate truth is nothing. It's an established practice in the industry. That is, until a landmark case in 2021 that changed British law and potentially the future of wrestling around the world. I'm Ollie Davis, and this is the story of when a wrestler was sent to prison for a wrestling move.